You know the feeling, right? Like you are earning well, hitting uh, every measurable financial goal on your spreadsheet. Your liquidity looks completely solid.
Yeah, on paper, anyway.
Right, exactly. But you still have this tightening in your chest when you check the accounts, just this low, persistent hum of anxiety. So for today's deep dive, we are looking at some excerpts from The Structural Fragility of Wealth, along with, financial case studies and risk analysis research.
It's a really great stack of
It
sources.
is. And our mission today is to figure out why that unease happens. Because honestly, it feels a lot like living in this beautifully decorated, perfectly organized house while secretly suspecting you built it right on top of a fault line.
That is such a good way to put it
Yeah.
because, the spreadsheet tells you that you are fine, but your nervous system completely disagrees.
Mhm.
And the therapists point out that this unease comes from, well, fundamentally misdiagnosing what financial risk actually is.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, we are trained to obsess over market volatility, right? Like those noisy 15% quarterly swings. We treat volatility as the ultimate enemy.
Sure. I mean, nobody likes seeing their portfolio dip.
Exactly. But the text argues that true structural risk is actually about blow-up dynamics. It's this hidden condition where a single localized event causes just irreversible damage to your compounding capacity. So fragility is building in the background, totally out of sight.
Wait, hold on. Let's unpack this a bit because isn't this the exact scenario that diversification is supposed to solve? I mean, if you feel exposed, you just spread your capital across broad index funds.
You think so, yeah.
Like you don't just build one house on a fault line, you buy little pieces of thousands of houses all over the world.
Right, but that assumes your diversification is actually, functioning as advertised.
Yeah.
The research here really highlights how the mere appearance of diversification frequently masks severe creeping concentration.
Being concentration.
Yeah, think about your own career. Let's say you work for a booming tech company and you get equity. Over time, because the company is doing so well, that single stock slowly balloons.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah, the author has this case study of a colleague whose employer stock grew to 73% of her total net worth.
Wow. But conventional wisdom always says, hold your winners. So it probably felt like she was doing the right thing.
Exactly. But by doing that, your success is actively compounding your risk. When a major merger failed for this professional, her company's stock dropped 60% in just 4 months.
Oh, man. That is brutal.
Right. And she didn't just lose money, she lost over a decade of compounding time that she literally can never buy back. And this illusion of safety isn't just limited to tech stocks either.
Right. I was thinking about real estate with this. Let's say you own 4 rental properties, but they're all in a single thriving tech hub.
Yep, classic example.
You might feel diversified, right? Because you have 4 different addresses, 4 different tenants. But if you look at the hidden correlations, you haven't really diversified at all. You've just made like one highly leveraged bet written 4 times on the same local economy.
Exactly.
It's like having 4 separate smoke detectors, but you wired them all to the exact same faulty power source.
That is perfectly said. When that local economy takes a hit, the power goes out on all 4 simultaneously. And this actually brings us to the first critical threshold from the research, which is 40%.
40% of what?
Of your total net worth. If a single, highly correlated position, and that absolutely includes your home equity or your employer stock, crosses 40% of your net worth, your structure is officially concentrated.
Okay, so why 40 specifically?
Because mathematically, at that weight, a severe localized drop outpaces the growth rate of the rest of your portfolio. Basically, you can't earn your way out of the hole.
Okay, that makes perfect sense for the asset side of the ledger, but let's play devil's advocate. Say you run your numbers and you easily pass that concentration test.
Oh.
Like your assets are perfectly balanced, nothing is over 30%. Why would that hum of anxiety still be there?
Because dodging asset concentration doesn't actually protect you from cash flow vulnerability.
Oh, right.
Yeah, structural failure operates on this second, completely independent axis. The author calls it obligation pressure.
Which means fixed monthly commitments, I assume, like mortgages, childcare contracts, car loans, stuff like that.
Exactly. It's not about what you own. It's about what you owe every 30 days.
Because those contracts do not care what the stock market is doing.
They really don't. Consider a hypothetical where you earn, say, $15,000 a month, but you have locked in $12,000 in fixed, non-negotiable obligations.
Which probably feels totally fine when things are good. You have a $3,000 buffer.
right? You feel perfectly comfortable. But if your industry cools and your income drops by just 25%, your flexibility doesn't merely shrink, it completely vanishes because obligations do not negotiate.
Yeah, the bank isn't going to give you a discount on your mortgage just because your year-end bonus was slashed.
Exactly. And the data here pinpoints the danger zone at 50%. Once fixed obligations consume over 50% of your gross income, your shock absorption is eliminated.
Wow, so that is the hard line.
Yeah, below 50%, you can usually absorb a pay cut by pausing investments or, cutting discretionary spending. But above 50%, an income shock forces immediate liquidation of your assets.
Usually at a steep loss, too, just to keep the lights on.
Exactly.
So to fix this foundation before an earthquake actually hits, we have to measure these invisible fault lines. How do we do
It
that?
requires mapping your net worth and obligation ratios annually. No panicked rebalancing, though. Just deliberate, gradual dispersion over time.
Right, so if an asset crosses that 40% threshold, you just trim it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or if your obligations are creeping toward 50% of your income, you actively restructure a loan or maybe delay upgrading a vehicle. You have to actively design your financial structure rather than just letting it accumulate.
Which brings us to a really profound takeaway from the text to leave you with today. The author notes that when your risk structure fails, the ultimate cost isn't actually just financial.
Right, it goes much deeper than that.
Yeah, it reaches directly into your decision making. The most immediate risk of a fragile structure isn't to your portfolio, it's to your attention.
That is such a huge point.
It really makes you wonder how much of your daily mental bandwidth is being secretly drained by a financial structure you have never truly measured.